All right, hi everybody. We're working through the diploma prep material. This is the chapter on trigonometry, and I'm looking to solve this really quite basic trigonometric equation here. Cosine of theta is equal to negative 1/2 between negative pi and positive pi here. The primary focus of this trig chapter, and really, even if your school has split them up into two chapters, the primary focus of both of those chapters is the solving of trig equations. Basically, everything that you look at in these two chapters here of trigonometry are focused on helping you solve equations. And what we're going to do for the most part is, even when you're dealing with some fairly complicated equations, ultimately we're going to break them down into little equations like this. And so you just need to be able to solve these things. Now, another one of the things that you got to be comfortable with is, what is this telling me right here? Well, this negative pi to pi is essentially telling me the domain over which this equation is supposed to hold. So a negative pi looks like this, is a rotation from the positive x-axis clockwise, half of a rotation, out to positive pi would look like this. Okay, so I've got two parts to this domain here, this negative part, this positive part here. I'm looking for where cosine is negative, and cosine is negative in quadrants 2 and 3. And I can see based on this that I'm going to get 1 and 2 answers here. Okay, where my domain, the lines for my domain intersect the angles, okay, the lines that would correspond to the solutions here, those are how many solutions I'm going to get here. So now I know that I'm going to get a second quadrant angle and a third quadrant angle. What I'm going to do now is figure out what my reference angle is. And that will be the inverse cosine of positive 1/2. I don't need to use the negative anymore. The negative has already told me what I needed to get from that, so I don't need it. Now I think about this, I can either enter this on my calculator if I want, or I can just remember back to my unit circle or my special triangles, and the inverse cosine of 1/2 is pi over 3 or 60 degrees, but this is in radians. So now I think about that. What I got to do here first of all is I'm going to follow this negative rotation down. Now what this means, this pi over 3, what it means is I'm taking half of the circle and dividing it into thirds. And now to get into the third quadrant here on this negative rotation, I have to go through negative 2 pi over 3's. So on one hand, I could have negative 2 pi over 3. Okay, that's the first angle that I'm going to get here, rotating negatively. Then the other one that I'm going to get here, starting on the positive x-axis and coming around this way. But again, what my reference angle is telling me is I'm chopping that top half into thirds, starting on the positive x-axis, rotating this way. That's positive 2 pi over 3's to get to that spot right there. And so the two angles that I'm going to get are negative 2 pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3.